All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video we have an update on the 147-pound division, straight from the mouth of the man who's holding the checkbook for the biggest fights that are being made in boxing, Stephen Espinoza of Showtime, who talks about what's going on next with Errol, Spence, and Terence Crawford, and if that fight does not take place, who he wants to see Terence Crawford in the ring with next. And it is a megastar in the making on that channel that Showtime that goes by the name of Jaron Boots Ennis. Like it or lump it, the conversation ain't going away. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to still be in the 147-pound division because if you did not already realize this or listen to the many times that I've said this is a channel that focuses on the historical weight classes and the big money weight classes: heavyweight, welterweight, lightweight, middleweight, featherweight when there's good fights taking place at featherweights. And the welterweight division has never been more popping this century than it is right now. Some people may say that it was more popping with Floyd Mayweather Jr., but Floyd Mayweather was popping through a series of weight classes. However, Stephen Espinoza, who is one of the key people involved in the big fights being made in boxing right now, because most all of the really big fights are being made on Showtime, has made a statement about what he wants to see next, what he thinks will happen next, and what he wants to have happen next with Terence Crawford on Showtime. And if the fight with Errol Spence Jr. does not take place, what does he think is going to take place or want to take place? Let's talk about that. But before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot to the channel. And thank you to everybody that sponsors videos like this on the super thanks. My guy, Matty Yole, being the king of it. Thank you, brother. Very underutilized way to sponsor videos on channels. So just greatly appreciate your support, and Mr. Pragmatic and Barbara D and Deborah Booker and everybody else that supports the channel. But let's get into this because there was some questions. I did a video yesterday where I talked about the fact that people are reporting that Stephen Espinoza said that he didn't think that the fight between Errol Spence Jr. would happen this year, that it may happen early in 2024 or late 2024. And what I told you was, believe that when you see that. And I still maintain that because I re-listened to what he said. I listened to it several times, and I am almost 100% sure that what he said was that it'll either take place late this year or early next year. The sound, because there's a lot of noise around him, ambient noise around him, kind of muffled the word late this year. And make late this year, that this could have sounded like next to some other people, this next, but it was this that he said. And also you should understand that from the context clues involved, where he's talking about December may be a little early, but it could happen maybe late this year, early next year if it happens. Now, why would he say if it happens? Because the question was asked about if it happens. That was actually came out of the person's mouth that was asking the question. YM Sports Media, I could recognize his voice. They do really good work. But that said, he also talked about, okay, what happens if they don't? Because he was asked those questions. And he said the fight that he'd like to see, and he thinks the best fight to be made in the welterweight division is Terence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. And he said, of course, you got Keith Thurman in the mix, any three of those guys in the mix for the fight if the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight does not take place. But he said that the Jaron Ennis is the fight that he thought would be the best fight in the division. Now, he also talked about the fact that Jermell Charlo was clearly what Terence Crawford wants is Jermell Charlo, right? It's said it multiple times. However, he said we have to see what happens with Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. Now, my personal take on that is it doesn't really matter what happens with Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez. Either one of those scenarios make the fight with Terence Crawford less likely and less of a big fight. If he wins, the fight with Terence Crawford is less likely because Jermell Charlo is probably going to rematch Canelo. I don't see him not rematching Canelo for the undisputed title at 168 if he's able to win. If he gets knocked out, on the other hand, then what kind of interest is there really going to be in a fight for Jermell to go back down 3 weight classes to fight Terence Crawford for 3 belts, not 4, because Tim Tszyu will still be the champion, right, of the WBO at the time, I do believe, unless, of course, Tim Tszyu takes a quick fight with the WBO title and loses. Now, one of the options could be for Terence Crawford to go fight Tim Tszyu. That could be an option. And then he gets the WBO belt at 154 if he's able to beat Tim Tszyu, which I suspect that he would be. And then Jermell moves down and they fight for undisputed. That, I guess, could happen, but that's a lot of moving pieces right there and a little less likely to take place, considering that Terence Crawford typically fights once a year. However, what Stephen Espinoza says is that he wants to see, or he thinks the biggest fight is the Jermell Charlo fight. And he also, is the Jaron Ennis fight. And he also says that, hey, man, there's other fights that could take place for Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford has a lot of mandatories, and that's why you have mandatories in boxing. You have mandatories in boxing so that undisputed champions will have to fight and give these guys shots. So, to me, it sounds like, look, if I had to interpret what this man, what I think his belief system is, and this is the fight that he wants, is Jaron Ennis. Now, there's been 2 people who have essentially said the same thing about the Jaron Ennis and the Terence Crawford fight. One guy's actually, Breadman Edwards, has said, look, man, that fight's a 50-50 fight. And Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. is not Jaron Ennis. And also talked like, hey, man, that could be a once in a lifetime performance out of Terence Crawford with Errol Spence Jr., who was just, competing on a different plane during that fight. And when he gets in there with Jaron Ennis, who knows if he's going to be fighting on that level. But even then, Breadman Edwards, who is from Philadelphia, and, he's got to represent his Philadelphia people. I know how that works. I'm not ignorant of the fact that people will most definitely speak highly of people in the towns that they're from, but still says it's a 50-50 fight. And I'm telling you, man, that's the fight that I would like to see. And since the guy with the pocket money in his pocketbook named Stephen Espinoza wants to see it, hey, man, the likelihood of it went up. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.